Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mid-Atlantic CCDC competition. That's the Collegiate Cyber Defense competition. We're very pleased to be here today. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian from Paul.com.
And I'm the co-host, John Strand from Paul.com Security Weekly.
And let's give a brief overview of the competition. Basically, all of the blue teams are made up of college students who are set forth to defend systems and against a team of hackers called the red team. So we're talking a lot today about blue team versus red team. There are 8 blue teams, which we'll introduce just shortly here, and it's sure to be a fun-filled day of hacking and compromises and shells and all kinds of fun.
Absolutely, and if I remember correctly, the red team is professional, correct, Paul? And the blue team are college students.
I'll call them professional.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I call us professional as well. So.
But in all seriousness, we have some of the best penetration testers in the world that are going to be going head-to-head with some of these college students that are just trying to get their feet in the door for computer security. So that's really cool.
I think it's very close to a real-world scenario. And there are lots of different aspects of the game that make it more of a real-world kind of exercise, which we'll be talking about in detail today. And very excited to see what the red team comes up with. Very excited to see what the blue team is going to come up with. I'm very excited to see who will be on the blue team and cry, bleed, or excrete any kind of bodily fluids during the competition, which apparently is a common thing.
Apparently, I'm not sure, but the red team actually made it their goal to get someone to bleed or cry or possibly vomit at some point.
At some point in time.
At some point, that's their goal. I asked them if it was mean, and they say they do that for all their pen tests anyway. Which I think is a nice approach.
It is.
Actually, when you think about it.
So we'll keep you updated on that as well. Just a brief overview of the scoring. So it's like golf. Points are bad. So the blue teams will incur points if a service is down, if the red team compromises one of their systems successfully, also if the red team obtains any sensitive information from their systems, also they have injects. So for example, they may say, hey, someone from the blue team has to go to a meeting. That person has to be excused and is not defending the systems anymore. So then what happens is they'll get points taken away, right? So if points are bad, so they'll deduct the points if they complete the inject successfully. The red team can, I think that's pretty much it as far as the scoring.
We'll also be talking more about the scoring and how they can get points back coming as we progress through today. I believe we want to talk a little bit about the teams. Who are these college students that have showed up today? Some of them have driven long distances, and they've worked very, very hard to get to the Mid-Atlantic State CCDC competition. So what are the teams that we have here?
Sure, let's see. I've got the rosters right here. First on my list is Radford University.
Very cool.
I don't know where that school is.
I don't have an idea.
I'm not from this area either.
So
we'll talk on. It's a great school, is what we're trying to say.
Radford, absolutely. And Andrew Rush is the team captain.
Team captain
for
there.
Radford. Very good.
I'm not sure if that was the team where they said that they would be winning the competition.
No. We'll get to that team here shortly.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be
so
talking about the team that said they were going to make the red team cry.
So
who's next here?
Radford University. That's Radford University. Good luck to them. We have Townsend University next up on my list.
And the captain for that is Andrea Mobley. So she'll be bringing in her team.
We got a chance to talk to a lot of the blue teams yesterday.
We did.
It was a great opportunity to kind of mingle with them. And
they were begging for advice.
They were begging for a lot of advice.
All kinds of weird things. So
they were outfitted in lots of Paul.com hack naked shirts as well, which is kind of nice. A lot of them are big fans of our Paul.com Security Weekly show.
And a lot of them said their parents wouldn't let them watch the show ever. So it works out quite well.
Yes.
All right. Who's next?
Next up is UMBC. That's University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
I believe so. And we actually talked to one of the teams that lost to UMBC in front of one of the pre-quals for actually getting here, and they lost by 1 point. So it was a very, very tight race. So these guys know how to come through in a battle to beat the other blue teams out. And this team is going to be captained by Mark Warfield. So he'll be bringing his team in.
Well, he's got war in the name.
He's got war in his name, absolutely. But I actually got money on this team to have someone cry. I don't know why. I just feel like they have a good opportunity.
We'll place full bets after
We've got full bets on this
segment,
afterwards. All right, and who's next?
Next up on my list is West Virginia University.
Yep. West Virginia University. It looks like the captain is Tim Matheny. I may be mispronouncing his name.
That'd be Jim.
That'd be Jim. Oh, Jim.
Yes,
I need glasses. Actually, that would be a J in that one. So these guys didn't come and talk to us very much at all. I thought that was interesting. Some of
They're
the teams
probably
came back
frightened by us.
probably intimidated.
Probably
Absolutely.
intimidated,
Once
yes.
again, mom and dad said stay away from men who look
Yes.
like strangers. So who's the next team that we have up? I think we only have 4 on our sheet up here, so we're going to get it up on the monitor here in just a couple of seconds. The next team would be, see if they're going to give that to us. So just to kind of give people an idea as far as what they were doing yesterday. They were getting a run of the room. They were seeing what their setups were going to be. Tim Rosenberg was going through and explaining the rules. And
I think they're allowed to be hands-on for a certain period of time before the competition.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
were,
you're
absolutely.
handing over a team. You're handing over a team these systems they've never seen before. So giving them, 20 minutes or so to familiarize themselves, see how the systems work, make sure they're all operational, I think is really important to the competition. And only fair to the blue team, probably the only truly fair thing
they're
that's
going to
done to
see
the blue
over the next
teams
couple of
because-
days.
Yeah.
I think I was just told that Millersville is one of the other
Millersville?
teams. I believe that's what I heard.
Millersville University, they have a team captain of Travis Romero and a co-captain of Bob Hennessy.
Very cool. So we wish them back. I believe that this is one of the teams that was actually talking trash to the red team. So these guys get
Yes.
tremendous props for actually going up and telling the red team that they've got nothing on them. So that's cool.
It's not good to I mean, I've been involved with this event. This is the 4th year I've been involved with this event, and it's not good to antagonize the red team.
Hey, look, a beehive. I'll go punch it.
Yeah.
The next team is James Madison University. James Madison University would be the last one. And Corey Brennan is the captain from that one. And these guys also spent a lot of time with us. They took a whole bunch of notes. And whether or not that advice that we actually gave him is going to be valuable remains to be seen.
Yeah, hopefully they did. I mean, I like to think that we know something about breaking into systems and know something about defending systems as well. And it was very gracious for me to have people come up to us and say, hey, what do you guys think? And I thought we had some good advice.
Yep, and it was interesting that I thought yesterday. One of the best things that we saw yesterday was the blue teams were actually talking to the red team and getting advice. Like Rob
Yes.
Fuller of Mubix was giving very detailed step-by-step notes on what the team should be doing if they want to win.
Now, the red team was telling them to set all their passwords to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Absolutely,
I don't know how
QWERTY
good that
and
advice
all of those
is.
advice might be bad. But in all seriousness, last night we were talking with some of the red team, and we were discussing what does the red team want to get out of this competition. One of the things they made clear to us is they don't want it to be an exploit fest where all the exploits are available in Metasploit. They want to actually struggle and work a little bit. So the better the blue team gets, the better off we all will be.
I think we're ready to go to Larry and Charlie in the pit.
Hi, welcome to the CCDC 2012. I'm Charlie Frick from APL, and with me is the very talented Larry Pesci.
Oh, thanks, Charlie. Glad to be here, and from Paul.com. So we've got the whole Paul.com crew here, both myself and Darren Badges, and upstage with John and Paul. So we're gonna have a good time.
Now, we just got started a few minutes ago, and as you can see behind us, there was a lot of furor and a lot of people frantically moving about, setting up. Larry, what do you think's going through their minds right now?
Oh boy, there's gonna be a lot of pain over the next couple of days, and yeah, there's probably a little bit of panic. Hopefully they've got jazzed up on a bunch of coffee. They can plow through a good portion this morning and get a bunch of stuff configured appropriately.
This strikes me more as a Red Bull crowd than a coffee crowd. I'm not sure yet.
Either way, yeah, Red Bull Monster.
Mix them all together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's delicious and nutritious.
Absolutely.
So as we were hearing the introductions, I couldn't help but notice a few of the blue teams here seem a little confident. I think I heard the phrase, make the red team cry.
Yeah, or make them witches.
Yeah.
No, something else.
Oh, yeah, something that sounds like
something
that, I
Yeah,
think.
they're going to get them to do their laundry or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I believe, as Paul said, it's normally a really bad idea to make the bear angry.
Yeah, don't punch the hornet's nest.
You really don't want to do that, guys.
Yeah,
they are merciless.
Bad idea.
So I am curious to see exactly how fast it is before things really start getting interesting out here. The Red Cell, this is composed mostly of professional penetration testers. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. So folks that do this for a living, they're pen testing day in, day out. They are writing the tools that are getting used on pen tests. They're writing their own stuff. So they're going to have lots of fun. They challenge themselves to learn something as well. And for them, it's really, really a big challenge because, for them to have the chops to be able to break into a system while people are sitting in front of them, trying to keep them out actively is an immense challenge. I mean, normally you go and do a pen test or even have some sort of attacker. Half the time, the users of those systems are completely oblivious. So these guys have got hands on keyboard and they're watching the systems as it's happening. And now that's a huge challenge.
So it's a really good opportunity just to improve your own tradecraft, you're saying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, an event like this, I'm assuming that most likely they're not bringing out their top of the line material, but some of their very strong attacks.
Yeah, so this is opportunity for them to test new methods, ways of getting deep into systems and maintaining access, just like attackers would do, whether it be some sort of persistent type of activity. Because I don't want to use the term APT because it bothers me.
And for those at home, it's advanced
persistent threat. Right, absolutely. And well, for those of you who are in the Paul.com crew, it's time to drink. And yes, it's already that time. But so they get to test out new techniques, and quite honestly, they're probably not going to bring out their absolute A game. So they're not going to be wanting to using their 0-day activities because everything is being monitored. All of the traffic is being recorded, and if they give that 0-day up, it's going to be in the traffic, it's going to probably be made public, and well, now they've lost their edge, so to speak.
Yeah, and also just for anybody that might be somewhat unfamiliar with this material, 0 days, those are, can you define those? Like,
sure, so
give the, like 30,000 foot definition?
A 30,000 foot definition of a 0-day. It's an attack that no one knows about. So I've developed an attack. No one knows about it. I'm the only one that knows about it. When it gets released, that's considered day one. So it's prior to day one. No one has the knowledge of it except for a few select folks. But of course, as testers and security professionals, we sort of have the joke in the industry is that, well, if one person can develop a 0-day, there's likely already someone out there that has also developed it and has also not shared it. So the opportunity that someone does share it, there's likely someone out there that also has it and has not been willing to share and give back to the community.
Okay, and as I'm looking out there, I believe we're also currently showing everyone a image of all of our blue teams. So these are the college competitors, and this is from a variety of both four-year schools and community colleges, I believe.
Yep.
So some of these guys have some experience defending networks, but for a lot of these folks, I think it's their very first time experiencing this.
Yes, absolutely, and a very difficult thing to do. They may not be jacks of all trades. They may have very limited experience with Windows, Linux, some of the systems. Some of these systems are going to be the first time they've ever seen them before. They're open source, off-the-shelf packages, and quite honestly, the attackers have never seen them before either. Don't know how to configure them. Never have seen the manuals. No idea. So a huge challenge.
Okay, so they're getting ready, and we're going to have a lot of exciting things today. Yes, now we're going to go right back to Paul and John and see what they have to say.
Thanks, guys. So I wanted to give everyone a little insight as to maybe what's happening on the red and blue teams, having been in the competition before. The red teams are, of course, they're getting all their gear set up, they're getting their tools ready, they're assigning the IP addresses to their system so they can actually be able to attack the blue teams. They're configuring all of their tools, and probably the first phase of the red team is discovering which systems to attack. We hope to have a demo for you a little later on that will show you exactly maybe some of the tools and techniques that the red team is using to first, you have to know where the system is that you want to attack.
Absolutely.
You have to basically know what operating system it might be running, what services it might be running, and those are some of the foundations. I hope to break that down for everyone that may be wondering, well, what are the first steps that the red team is taking? What are the first steps that you take when you want to attack systems? Now, the blue team is probably, first of all, a little nauseous. Hopefully they get a good breakfast in there. And scurrying to their systems, probably, hopefully, if they're taking our advice, they're changing all of their passwords.
And that's one of the big things. Whenever we're doing a penetration test, one of the first things that you always look for is default passwords, because the bad guys are going to hit those default passwords, Paul, before they really hit anything else. And we can use tools for self-assessment on the blue side to check for some of those default passwords. Tools like Nikto, some of the Nmap scripting engine scripts, and also tools like Tenable's Nessus can automatically check for some of those. But we're assuming that somewhere in this game that Tim Rosenberg and his team have put in default passwords for many of the core applications that the blue team needs to keep running. So what are some other great tools that you like to work with for reconnaissance and scanning, Paul, for starting like an opening gambit?
Well, Nessus, as you said, has a little bit of overlap with the Nmap tool. On the real live internet, something that maybe isn't so simulated is to look on the web, see postings that an administrator made that says, hey, I'm running this software. Looking at various open public forums and figuring out, oh, they're running this particular server, and things like that. I think it's a great method.
And some of our favorite websites for that recon, if you guys want to try this at home, is you can go to websites like Shodan, S-H-O-D-A-N. So if you guys remember the, what was the movie, Enter the Dragon or The Return of the Dragon?
with Bruce Lee. That'd
No, it
be
was
Enter the Dragon.
It wasn't the Bruce Lee one. It's the one
Oh.
where the kid takes on the guy that's Shodan.
Karate Kid.
No, it wasn't Karate Kid. At any rate, Shodan HQ. So if you go to Shodan HQ, they do banner grabbing for services. So much like Google goes through and it crawls the internet looking for HTML and pulling down that text, Shodan will find banners, and it'll identify the banners and the services for things like FTP, things like Telnet, things like HTTP and HTTPS. But that won't be available to the red team, so they're going to rely on other tools like you mentioned, Nessus and Nmap to
And
find
now,
those.
these reconnaissance tools aren't going to affect score, right? I mean,
No.
as the red team is doing reconnaissance, the blue team's not taking a scoring hit. However, if while they're changing their passwords, the red team members have gained unauthorized access to their systems, they may be taking a point hit. So it's kind of like, the wave of points may go like this for the blue team, and hopefully in the end it averages out. However, while they're changing their passwords, red team gets in, they're raising their score, but taking that time to put a password in is going to help them in the long road. So you can't necessarily just look at the short wins for the blue team. You have to look at, this is a 2-day event, so you have to come out ahead on top at the end.
And that's one of the major fears that we were talking about last night over dinner, is that many of these blue teams are going to try to find some sort of quick win. They're going to try to find some way that they're able to keep the red team out consistently with one tool. They asked us many times, which tool do you recommend to try to keep the red team out? And we strongly recommended bash and command line skills for Windows, and also VI without using the arrow keys. But yeah, there's definitely an amount of time where the red team will be able to get in before the blue team can do anything about it.
Yes. Are we going to go back to Larry and Charlie and see what's happening in the area?
Two grown men who can't get enough of each other.
Yes.
That is true.
That is very true. Well, it sounds like you guys can't get enough of each other. Aren't you guys sharing a hotel room? Wait, oh, never mind. No, that's something different altogether.
So, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Charlie.
No, after you, sir.
Oh, no, after you, sir.
No, after you.
After you.
After you.
Oh, okay. All right.
Simultaneously?
If you, yeah. Wait.
Okay.
All right. So a lot of activity going on down here. We're standing right by the public internet terminals. So there's been lots of foot traffic behind us headed over to public internet terminals. We don't know what they're doing. We can't see, but
I would guess most likely downloading patches for anything that they might notice that, hey, the software is 10 years old. Maybe we should get something on there.
Yeah. So lots of frantic activity. Lots of hands to keyboards, heads down, running back and forth. Oh, see, look right there. And lots of hand waving, and there hasn't been any screaming or yelling yet.
Yes, it's about this time that they're starting to realize that, hey, this is a computer operating system I've never seen before in my life. Maybe I should go learn what that is.
Yes, operating system. I don't know if I've ever heard of one.
I've heard of the Windows. Is this the Windows?
The Windows
Okay.
95.
That's good. Hey, I love the orange and black. It's now safe to turn off your computer screen. Before then, I never knew how to turn off a computer. Anyway, I think we're going to tell you a little bit about how we're scoring this event this year. So the most important thing to remember is CCDC, it's golf scores. Higher numbers, not good. You earn points by having people break into your networks and by failing to meet certain things that we call business injects. Mm-hmm. Could you explain what a business inject
Sure.
is, Larry?
So as far as a business inject, as I understand it, they're given a task from White Cell. So whether it be coming from upper management or a requirement for a state federal regulation or something from the community, it's here's a task that you need to perform on your network, whether it be you need to stand up a new mail server, your DNS is broken and I can't get out to the internet, your CEO needs to do his Christmas holiday shopping, so they have to fix something, they need to stand up a new service, or it's an activity that intentionally takes them away from the keyboard, whether it be take away their essential leadership or something of the like, to simulate real world type of things. I mean, we don't just go to the office and we just don't sit and tap away at our computer and surf the internet. Well, at least most of us don't. But so they actually have to perform something while they're at work. So they're giving them something to do aside from securing their systems.
That makes sense because this type of event, I believe this year the theme is medical cybersecurity. So these teams are operating as a hospital IT staff. So they have to do the tasks that you would normally need to do when you're working in a hospital.
Yep, and which is a huge challenge. So oftentimes you're finding nonprofit healthcare understaffed, under budget, with way too much work, way too much to be able to do what you need to do, and not enough people to do it. Just like CCDC.
Now, I will say one thing I've just now have to ask you because I'm just curiosity got the better of me.
Sure.
Larry, a little bit about this.
Yeah, so my cohort Darren from Paul.com came up with this idea. So Darren is part of the CCDC event. We last 3 years have done the badges. This year the badges include a medical dispensation station. All the blue teams and red teams badges will open their appropriate dispensation station. They're filled with candy so they can take them out. We laser cut all the badges. And we had a little bit of extra time at the laser cutter, and Darren says, you know what, we need to do something ridiculous for our own badges. Let's go like Flava Flav style and have this really big, obnoxious badge. And, well, quite honestly, they're about the size of our heads. And Darren came up with the idea of putting some light-up LEDs and controlling them with an Arduino and using PWM to be able to color cycle the LEDs.
It is beautiful. I wish there was like a dancing pattern we could follow across there.
Well, so we can actually reprogram these badges to do all sorts of different stuff. So maybe we should go do that, and we'll throw it back to Paul and John.
That sounds good. Are Paul and John back up in the cage to talk about a little bit more about this event?
Thanks, Charlie and Larry. And we're back just to say that we'll be back at the top of the hour with an update on how the teams are doing.
And that'll be consistent throughout the rest of this competition. So if you're watching us live online and you see that we aren't talking or Larry and Charlie aren't talking and there's music and pictures going through, that's perfectly normal. The actual action will start at the top of the hour every single hour. We'll be giving you updates, tips. We'll be talking about the contestants, all kinds of really cool things coming up. So stick with us, and it's going to be a very, very exciting competition here at Mid-Atlantic States CCDC 2012.
That's from 9 to 5 today and tomorrow.
9 to 12 today and tomorrow.
Thank you.